Don't touch me, I say don't touch me Mama, you are evil. Leave here or I will call the police. Maduka and Sima were a young couple deeply in love, living in the bustling city of Lagos. Their marriage was a union of joy, celebrated by friends and family, and their future seemed bright. Maduka was a successful architect, known for designing some of the most stunning buildings in the city, while Sima ran a thriving boutique that catered to high-end clients. Together, they had everything they could ever wish for, except a child. Their struggle began shortly after their wedding. Sima would conceive, but each time she neared her delivery date, tragedy struck. Despite receiving the best medical care, every attempt to bring a child into the world ended in heartbreak. The pain was unbearable, and the couple found themselves trapped in a cycle of hope and despair. Unbeknownst to them, a sinister force was at play. Each time Sima was rushed to the hospital for delivery, a mysterious old woman appeared. She seemed harmless, even kind, as she approached Sima with soft words and a gentle touch. But her presence was far from benevolent. The old woman, known as Mema Neka, had a dark secret. She was over 120 years old, her life unnaturally extended by a dreadful ritual. Mema Neka had discovered a way to steal the life force of unborn children, transferring their vitality to herself to prolong her own existence. Disguised as a concerned elder, she would visit hospitals where pregnant women were about to give birth. Her touch, seemingly comforting, was deadly. A hidden lightning, invisible to the naked eye, would strike from her hand into the womb of the expectant mother, killing the baby and absorbing its life force into Mema Neka's aged body. The cycle of sorrow continued for years. Maduka and Sima's grief grew heavier with each loss, but they refused to give up. Desperation drove them to seek answers beyond medical science. They consulted traditional healers, spiritualists, and even traveled to remote villages seeking a cure for their misfortune. One evening, after yet another failed pregnancy, Sima sat by the window, watching the rain pour down. Her heart ached, and tears rolled down her cheeks. Maduka joined her, wrapping his arms around her. "We will find a way," he whispered, though his voice trembled with uncertainty. Their quest for answers led them to a reclusive old man named Baba Ifini, known for his wisdom and mystical knowledge. He lived in a secluded part of the city, in a small house surrounded by ancient trees. The couple shared their story with him, their voices heavy with despair. Baba Ifini listened intently, his eyes narrowing as they described the old woman who always appeared during Sima's deliveries. "This is no ordinary misfortune," he said gravely. "You are dealing with a spirit of the night, a woman who has traded her humanity for immortality." He explained that Mema Neka was using dark magic to steal the lives of unborn children. Her visits to the hospital were not coincidental but a part of her sinister plan to sustain her unnatural life. To break the curse, they would need to expose her and confront the dark power she wielded. With renewed determination, Maduka and Sima devised a plan. The next time Sima became pregnant, they kept the news secret, sharing it only with Baba Ifini. When the time for delivery approached, Baba Ifini accompanied them to the hospital, disguised as a distant relative. As expected, Mema Neka arrived, her eyes gleaming with a predatory hunger. She approached Sima's bed, her wrinkled hands reaching out under the guise of offering comfort. But before she could lay her hand on Sima, Baba Ifini stepped forward, his voice booming with authority. "Stop," he commanded, his eyes blazing with a light that seemed to cut through the very soul. Mema Neka froze, her face contorting with fear and rage. Baba Ifini chanted ancient words, calling upon the forces of light to expose her true form. The hospital room was filled with a blinding light, and Mema Neka's disguise melted away, revealing her true, monstrous self. The staff and other patients watched in horror as the once kind old woman transformed into a grotesque figure, her skin shriveled and her eyes glowing with malevolence. She shrieked, trying to escape, but Baba Ifini's chants held her in place. With one final, powerful incantation, Baba Ifini banished the dark spirit, freeing the hospital from her malevolent influence. Mema Neka's body crumbled to dust, and a sense of peace settled over the room. Sima's delivery went smoothly, and she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The joy in the room was palpable, as tears of happiness streamed down Maduka's face. They named their son Chidi, meaning God exists, a testament to the faith that had carried them through their darkest hours. News of the miraculous event spread throughout the city, and Maduka and Sima's story became a beacon of hope for others facing insurmountable challenges. They knew their journey was far from over, but for the first time in years, they looked to the future with hope and anticipation. As they cradled baby Chidi in their arms, they knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, a chapter filled with love, light, and endless possibilities. In the days following Chidi's birth, life in the Maduka household took on a new rhythm. The laughter of their baby filled the house, a sound so sweet it felt like music to their ears. Sima, often gazing at her son's tiny hands and feet, could hardly believe he was real. Maduka, who once hid his sorrow behind a stoic facade, now wore a permanent smile, his heart brimming with joy. However, the peace they had fought so hard to attain was soon to be challenged. One quiet evening, as the family gathered around the dining table, a strange wind swept through their home. The curtains fluttered wildly, and a chilling sensation crept into the room. Sima clutched Chidi closer, her instincts warning her of impending danger. Maduka stood, his eyes scanning the room for any signs of intrusion. A soft knock echoed from the front door, breaking the tense silence. Maduka hesitated for a moment before walking cautiously to answer it. Standing on the doorstep was a young woman, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and urgency. She appeared disheveled, her clothes damp from the rain that had begun to fall. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I need your help." Maduka ushered her inside, noticing how she kept glancing over her shoulder as if expecting someone, or something, to follow. Sima prepared a warm drink, offering the stranger a place to sit. The woman introduced herself as Amora, explaining that she had heard of their recent encounter with Mema Neka. "There's something you need to know," Amora began, her hands shaking as she held the cup of tea. Mema Neka was not working alone. Sima's heart sank. She had hoped that with Mema Neka gone, their troubles were over. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Amora explained that Mema Neka had been part of a secretive coven, a group of ancient beings who thrived on the life force of the unborn. They were scattered across the city, hiding in plain sight, and with Mema Neka's demise, the coven would be seeking revenge. "They won't stop until they've taken back what they believe is theirs," Amora warned. "Your son is in grave danger." Maduka clenched his fists, his mind racing with thoughts of how to protect his family. Sima felt a wave of fear wash over her, but it was quickly replaced by a fierce determination. They had come too far to lose everything now. "We need to find them before they find us," Sima said, her eyes meeting Maduka's with resolve. "We can't let them hurt Chidi." Amora nodded. "There's a place where they gather, a hidden temple deep within the city. If you're willing, I can lead you there. But it won't be easy." Maduka and Sima exchanged a glance, their love for each other and their child giving them the strength to face whatever lay ahead. They knew the journey would be dangerous, but they also knew they couldn't stand by and wait for the coven to strike. As they prepared for the journey, Baba Ifini arrived, having sensed the disturbance in the air. He agreed to join them, bringing with him ancient scrolls and protective charms. "This fight is not just for your family," he said solemnly. "It's for all the innocent lives that have been taken and for those who might still be saved." Under the cover of night, the small group set out, navigating the labyrinthine streets of Lagos. Amora led them through alleyways and abandoned buildings, her knowledge of the city's hidden corners proving invaluable. The rain continued to fall, masking their footsteps as they approached the temple's entrance, a crumbling archway concealed by overgrown vines. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of incense and something far more sinister. The flickering light of candles revealed symbols etched into the walls, their meanings lost to time. In the center of the room, a group of hooded figures chanted in an ancient tongue, their voices rising and falling in a haunting melody. Baba Ifini stepped forward, his staff glowing with a soft, ethereal light. "Be gone, dark spirits," he commanded, his voice reverberating through the temple. The chanting stopped, and the hooded figures turned as one, their eyes burning with an unnatural fire. A fierce battle ensued, with Baba Ifini using his knowledge of ancient magic to counter the coven's dark spells. Maduka and Sima fought alongside him, their love for each other and their son fueling their strength. Amora, too, proved to be a formidable ally, her courage and resourcefulness shining through. As the last of the coven fell, a deafening silence filled the temple. The air seemed lighter, as if the very essence of the place had been cleansed. Baba Ifini knelt, drawing a protective circle around the group, sealing the temple and ensuring that no dark force could ever rise from it again. Exhausted but victorious, the group made their way back home, the first light of dawn breaking over the city. Sima held Chidi close, feeling a profound sense of relief and gratitude. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger for it. But deep within their hearts, they knew this was not the end. The world was full of unseen dangers, and they would need to remain vigilant. Yet for now, they would cherish their victory and the precious life they had fought so hard to protect. Days turned into weeks, and life slowly began to return to normal for Maduka, Sima, and their son Chidi. The air of danger that had loomed over their family had dissipated, replaced by a fragile peace. They cherished every moment together, savoring the simple joys of family life. However, the events they had endured left an indelible mark on their hearts and minds. One evening, as the family sat in their cozy living room, the soft hum of the television filling the background, there was a knock at the door. Maduka opened it to find Amora standing there once again, her expression more serious than before. She held a bundle of papers in her hand, her eyes reflecting a mix of concern and urgency. "May I come in?" she asked softly. Maduka nodded, stepping aside to let her in. Once inside, Amora spread the papers on the dining table. They were old, yellowed with age, and covered in strange symbols and handwriting. "I've been researching," she began, her voice low. "After what we went through at the temple, I couldn't shake the feeling that there's more to this story. These documents confirm it." Sima leaned in, studying the papers. "What do they say?" Amora took a deep breath. "The coven we defeated wasn't the only one. There are others, hidden across the country, and perhaps even beyond. They are part of an ancient network, all connected by their dark rituals and hunger for life force. And with Mema Neka gone, there's a power vacuum. Others will rise to take her place." Maduka felt a chill run down his spine. "Are you saying we're still in danger?" Amora nodded. "I believe so. And not just you. Anyone who's vulnerable, anyone who's expecting a child, could become a target. This isn't over. It's just the beginning." Sima clutched Chidi closer, her maternal instincts kicking in. "What can we do? How do we protect our family and others from this threat?" Amora's gaze hardened with determination. "We have to find them before they find us. We need to dismantle this network, piece by piece. But we can't do it alone." Maduka exchanged a look with Sima. They had fought so hard to bring Chidi into the world, and now it seemed their battle was far from over. But the love they shared, and their desire to protect not just their son but others who might suffer as they had, fueled their resolve. "We'll do whatever it takes," Maduka said firmly. "We'll fight." Amora nodded, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "Then we'll start by gathering allies, people who've been affected by this, like you, who are willing to stand against the darkness. Together, we can make a difference." Baba Ifini, who had arrived quietly and listened from the shadows, stepped forward. "I will stand with you," he said, his voice steady. "This battle is not just yours but ours. The light must prevail, and we will ensure it does." Over the following days, Maduka, Sima, and Amora worked tirelessly to gather information and allies. They reached out to families who had suffered similar losses, healers and mystics who understood the supernatural, and even law enforcement officers willing to help in unconventional ways. Slowly, a network of their own began to form, a network of light, standing against the darkness. Their mission took them across the city and beyond, uncovering hidden covens, dismantling their rituals, and freeing those who had been enslaved by fear. Each victory brought a sense of justice, but also the realization that their journey was long and fraught with danger. One night, as they returned home from a successful mission, Sima sat in Chidi's room, watching him sleep peacefully. Maduka joined her, wrapping his arms around her shoulders. "Do you ever wonder how we got here?" she asked, her voice a whisper. Maduka nodded. "Every day. But I know we're doing the right thing. We're protecting Chidi and so many others." Sima sighed, a mixture of exhaustion and contentment. I just wish we could give him a world where he never has to know this darkness. Maduka kissed her forehead gently. We're building that world for him, one step at a time. Their fight continued, each day bringing new challenges and triumphs. They knew the road ahead was uncertain, but their love and determination guided them. And as they stood together, their hearts united, they believed that no matter how long the night, the dawn would always come. Their story was far from over. It was a story of resilience, hope, and the unyielding power of love, a story that would continue as they faced the unknown together. Months passed, and the network of light that Maduka, Sima, and Amora had built grew stronger. They dismantled coven after coven, freeing countless families from the terror that had once plagued them. Their victories were hard-won, but each one brought them closer to their ultimate goal, a world free from the dark forces that preyed on the innocent. One evening, as the sun set over Lagos, the group gathered in Maduka and Sima's living room. The atmosphere was lighter than it had been in months. Amora, now a close friend, smiled as she cradled Chidi in her arms. Baba Ifini sat by the window, his eyes twinkling with pride. We've done it, Amora said, her voice filled with relief. The last of the covens has been dismantled. The threat is gone. Sima's eyes filled with tears as she looked at her son, who giggled in Amora's lap. It's finally over, she whispered, her heart swelling with gratitude. Maduka wrapped his arms around her, pressing a kiss to her temple. We can finally live in peace, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Chidi can grow up safe. Baba Ifini nodded. The darkness has been pushed back, but remember, the light must always be tended. Vigilance is the price of peace. Sima smiled, her heart full of hope. We'll never forget what we've learned. We'll protect the light, always. As the days turned into weeks, the Maduka family embraced their new life. Chidi grew, his laughter filling the house with joy. Maduka returned to his work as an architect, designing buildings that symbolized hope and renewal. Sima's boutique thrived, her designs reflecting the strength and beauty she had discovered within herself. One afternoon, as they strolled through a park, Sima watched Chidi chase after butterflies, his giggles ringing through the air. She turned to Maduka, her eyes shining with happiness. We've come so far, she said. And it's all because we never gave up. Maduka squeezed her hand, his heart full. Together, we can face anything. Their story, once marked by sorrow and struggle, had transformed into one of hope and triumph. The darkness that had once threatened their happiness was gone, replaced by the radiant light of their love and resilience. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city, Sima and Maduka knew that their journey had made them stronger. They had faced the storm and emerged into the light, their bond unbreakable, their hearts forever united. And in that light, they found their forever, safe, together, and filled with endless love. This story has a lot of lessons to teach us. Let me hear what we all learn in the comment section. Do you think we should allow our grandmothers to touch our pregnant wives? If you love my story series, kindly hit the subscribe button, like my videos and share this video to ask many persons as possible. See you in my next episode.